Now, there is a group of people in this country that know better than anyone how untrustworthy the EPA is, and that is 9/11 victims. First responders in that toxic rubble, they were told by the EPA that the air was okay to breathe. Many of those victims and first responders died from breathing in that dust. Many got cancer. This country is still paying claims to 9/11 victims today. So is Ohio now turning into a breeding ground for another 9/11-like cancer cluster? Michael Barasch is a renowned 9/11 attorney, and he joins me now. Michael, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We've really been following this story, and our thoughts, our prayers go out to the people of Ohio who need help right now that they're not getting from the government. You've seen firsthand what happens to people when the EPA is wrong. What is your reaction to the EPA's claim that the air and water in East Palestine is safe?
Well, thanks for having me, Jen. I tell you, it was like Yogi Berra said, deja vu all over again. My office, Barasch McGarry, is just 2 blocks from ground zero. I went back to work when the EPA assured me 21 years ago that the air was safe to breathe. Remember that? Well, it wasn't safe. I represented Detective James Zedroga, for whom Congress named the bill. When they did his autopsy after he died of pulmonary fibrosis at the age of 34, they found in his lungs chromium, lead, benzene. These are all known carcinogens that the EPA said, don't worry about it. So when I heard last week the EPA say, oh, the air is safe, shivers went down my spine. I was so insulted by that. And the truth is, you just can't trust the EPA when they said that. Please, ladies and gentlemen, if you live anywhere near this area of Palestine, get out until scientists, not politicians who are there for photo ops, but scientists and not the EPA assure us that the air truly is safe, that the water truly is safe. Because I fear that it is not, and we are going to see another cancer cluster 10, 20 years from now, Jen.
And Michael, what's so concerning is that so many people can't just simply get out. They can't just evacuate their homes. They don't have the financial means to up and leave and find another place to go for who knows how long. What would you say to those folks that feel stuck right now, that don't know what to do, that are concerned because they don't feel well, but they don't have the money to go somewhere else?
Get out. There are Red Cross facilities more than 20 miles outside of Palestine where they can go. They can stay with friends, relatives, but get out and save yourselves. It's not just the water tastes bad and the air smells bad, Jen. This stuff is really dangerous. I mean, we saw it with 9/11 when NIOSH, 11 years after 9/11, finally began to admit that it wasn't just respiratory illnesses, but up to 68 cancers. And this is constantly evolving. Just 2 weeks ago, NIOSH admitted that uterine cancer is now related to the toxic dust at the World Trade Center. So save yourselves until we know for sure. Don't just believe politicians who show up for photo ops. Don't believe the EPA. You've got to protect your families. And that's why I know it's expensive, but really do not just accept the money from the railroad and sign away your future legal rights. And also I'll say something, and this is going to be strange coming from an attorney, but don't sign up with any of these law firms that are charging 33 to 40% to get you money in the future. They should set up a new 9/11 type fund where it's non-litigious, where people get the health care that they deserve and the compensation that they deserve if and when they ever get sick in the future.
Well, Michael, it looks, like the administration right now is trying to deflect blame. We got Pete Buttigieg sending a letter to the CEO of Norfolk Southern weeks after this took place. He wrote, you have previously indicated to me that you are committed to meeting your responsibilities to this community, but it is clear that area residents are not satisfied with the information, presence, and support they are getting from Norfolk Southern in the aftermath and recovery. Norfolk Southern should be held accountable, but where's the federal government's information? Where's their presence and their support as well? Because it's notable how absent this entire administration has been in going to visit these people and getting them what they need.
Yeah, Jen, with all due respect to the senators who are in Ohio, to the president, to the Department of Transportation and Buttigieg, what do they know about the science here? Frankly, nothing. So we really need independent scientists to get there on the ground, test the water, test the air, and assure the residents, not just of Palestine, but the surrounding 20 miles. This air plume went long distances through the Ohio River Basin. The water may have been contaminated as far as the Mississippi. So we need to really lock this down and get firm answers, and we're not going to get them from our politicians. So don't expect anything. Listen, President Bush told us it was his EPA back in, he was a Republican, and his EPA said the air was safe after 9/11. It wasn't.
I've only got 30 seconds, but I want to ask you very
issue.
Quickly, because we're looking at, 20 years ago, the Bush EPA, now the Biden EPA. It sounds, based on your concerns, that not much has changed. Will there be accountability? How do these people hold the EPA accountable for telling them, yes, it's safe to be at home, when clearly many people know it's not?
Well, independent science, absolutely. But this was non-discriminatory air. It didn't care if you were Republican or Democrat. So I urge the federal government to encourage the railroad to set up a fund like the Victim Compensation Fund for 9/11, to set up a World Trade Center health program situation for the victims in Palestine and the surrounding Ohio areas, so these people can be taken care of. And it's not left to the politicians or the EPA, which, frankly, I don't trust.
Well, Michael Barasch, we appreciate you and your expertise this evening. Thank you so much for joining us.
Anytime.